So you're thinking about doing business in Vietnam? Or maybe you're already there. Well, there are 3 things you absolutely positively have to get right from day one: how you pay your people, how you insure them, and how you deal with your taxes. Seriously, if you mess these up, the whole thing can come crashing down. So let's break down this essential guide to staying compliant in Vietnam. So, what exactly are these key areas? Well, it's helpful to think of them as 3 interconnected pillars holding up your entire business. And the really fascinating part, the part we're going to dive into, is how they're all connected. If one starts to wobble, believe me, the whole structure is at risk. Let's take a look at each one. All right, first up, pillar number 1, salaries and wages. Now, this goes way beyond just, agreeing on a number and shaking on it. It's about getting your head around the entire legal framework that defines what income actually means in Vietnam. And this right here is a really critical point. Under Vietnamese law, an employee's income isn't just their base salary. Nope, it's the whole shebang. We're talking wages, bonuses, allowances, and any other benefits. And why is this so important? Because that total number is the foundation for everything else that follows, especially insurance. This isn't just some friendly advice from a business textbook. It's written right into the law. The language is crystal clear. Businesses must protect their employees' rights and link their pay directly to how the company is performing. That means your entire compensation strategy has to be fair, legal, and tied to your success. Okay, so that leads us perfectly into our second pillar, the social insurance system. See how it all connects? That total employee income we just defined? Well, it's about to become incredibly important because you are required to participate in Vietnam's social insurance system, and it all hinges on that number. The system basically has 2 parts, but for any business, the one you've got to know inside and out is the mandatory social insurance. And the name says it all, right? It is not optional. Both the company and the employee are legally required to contribute. While there is a voluntary system, this mandatory program is the absolute bedrock of compliance for every single employer. So how do the payments actually work? Well, think of it as a team effort. The employee contributes 8% of their monthly salary, which goes toward their pension. Then the employer contributes a total of 17%. That covers things like sickness, maternity, and another big chunk of that pension fund. When you add it all up, you get a total contribution of 25% of that employee's salary. And you might be asking, okay, so what does all that money actually pay for? Well, it creates a really comprehensive social safety net. It covers your people for sick leave, maternity leave, and of course, it provides for their retirement pension. It also includes survivorship benefits, and this is a big one, it protects them in case of work-related accidents or diseases. And here's a heads up, especially for international companies, because this is something that's easy to miss. This system isn't just for your local staff. If you hire a foreign national on a contract for 12 months or more, they are also required to be part of the system. It really creates a level playing field for all your long-term employees, no matter their nationality. All right, that brings us to our third and final pillar, and it's the one everybody loves to talk about: corporate income tax, or CIT. This is the main tax your business will pay on its profits, so understanding how it's calculated is absolutely essential for financial planning. The magic number you need to remember is 20%. This has been the standard corporate tax rate for most businesses in Vietnam since 2016. It's the baseline you're going to use for your financial plans. But, and there's always a but, right? It's not the only rate. Because if your company is in a specific industry, we're talking oil, gas, or mining for other rare natural resources, that tax rate shoots way, way up into the range of 32 to 50%. It's a really clear look at how tax policy is used to manage different sectors of the economy. So how do you actually get to that final tax bill? It's a pretty straightforward 4-step process. First, you figure out your total revenue. Second, you subtract all of your legitimate deductible business expenses. The number you're left with is your taxable income. And finally, you apply the correct tax rate, usually 20%, to that taxable income to see what you owe. But that second step, deductible expenses, that's where everything really comes together. Okay, so now it's time to connect the dots. These 3 pillars, salary, insurance, and tax, they aren't just separate tasks on a checklist. No, they are deeply, deeply interconnected. And managing one correctly has a direct effect on the others. And here it is, the critical link. Remember that total employee income from Pillar 1? Well, All of it, the salaries, the wages, bonuses, benefits, is considered a primary deductible expense. This means every single dollar you spend on your employees gets subtracted from your revenue before your corporate tax is calculated. So let's just boil it all down. Here's the bottom line. Your employee payroll is doing two vital jobs at once. It's the number you use to calculate insurance contributions, taking care of your duty under Pillar 2, and at the exact same time, it directly shrinks your company's taxable income, which lowers your bill for Pillar 3. Getting your salary management right is truly the key that makes the whole system work. Mastering these three pillars is absolutely essential for any business operating in Vietnam today. But, as the economy keeps growing and changing so quickly, it leaves us with a big question for the future. How will these foundational rules around salary, insurance, and tax have to evolve to meet the needs of a much more complex and dynamic marketplace? It's definitely something to keep an eye on.